So today, the Orlando Pirates chairperson, Irvin Khoza, was addressing the media in his capacity as PSL chairperson, as you just saw there. Khoza said also that he had a conversation with TS Gaxy President Tim Sukazi. This was in response to an incident that happened last Saturday at the Orlando Stadium that was widely shared on social media. Here's a look at what happened. So that's the president of TS Gaxy. You see Tim Sukazi in his signature hat with the signature Ndebele colors alongside it, trying to get into the door of the stadium at the Orlando Stadium. And this is, in fact, the players and officials' entrance. The police at the stadium asking him to please not push his way through. And according to the club, they said that he wanted to go and do what he traditionally does, and that is to address his players and motivate them in person before the game. Well, we are now joined by TS Gaxy President Tim Sukazi. A very good afternoon and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Thank you, Dylan. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's just go back to what exactly happened so that we capture the story correctly, because we can read as much as we want to into the visuals of a minute and a half. But can you just explain to us what happened on Saturday?
Yeah, to be honest, look, the video, I would say it's self-explanatory. So in essence, I was refused entry or rather access into the stadium or the match venue, you know, at the time at which I was supposed to be there. Yeah, I needed to go get into our change room, have a conversation with our head coach, even observe the field to the extent that I could. And then, yeah, lead my team on a prayer as I usually do. So I was refused access.
We understand, though, that you were told to go to the VIP box, which is where the chairman of visiting clubs usually sit.
Yeah, I don't pray with the team inside the VIP box, not in any match. I don't see my coach prior to the game at the VIP box. I see him in my change room, at our change room. And I am the president of the club, of course. I carry the all-access card. So I can't do all this at the VIP box. You know, we always do it at the change room. So at that time, I needed to be inside our change room. I needed to see our coach. We needed to go through in some detail, you know, match approach and other things, because we didn't even get a chance to speak earlier anyway. I was hectic on Saturday. So, yeah, we usually do that. We spend a good 30 minutes or so, and thereafter we pray together.
Tim, as much as TS Gaxy are a new club, they certainly aren't playing their very first season in top-flight football here in South Africa. Have you ever had an experience like this before at the Orlando Stadium previously, or any other stadium for that matter?
Yes, it was on January the 26th. It was a Tuesday match, our first ever visit at Orlando Stadium. We had a scuffle of this sort. Unfortunately, DSTV cameras got it. They captured it on camera, the main sponsor, but it was never shown to people, obvious. You know, I don't know on whose instruction. It was held back, but the truth is they've got it on their records, in their files today now, you know, as the main sponsor. And as an unfortunate event as it was then, I did expect that at least they will you know, take a position and deal with it somehow, more so that they've got it on camera. So it was never shown. But this time around, fortunately or unfortunately, you know, people managed to take the whole thing on camera, and yeah, they well so, you know. And in my view, it was a huge disgrace to South African football. You know, it was a disrespect, not only to me, I think, to the Ndebele nation, people of Mpumalanga as a whole. You know, it was just a mess. You know, it was a state of event that football doesn't deserve.
Tim, just so I understand, the incident that happened in January, that was also at the Orlando Stadium, has it happened to you anywhere else that you've been denied access, or to go through the players' entrance and go into your players' change room?
No, not at all. So yeah, no, we don't do it as football clubs, other than what we experienced at Orlando. So, I mean, at Mbombela, if Kaizer Chiefs comes, I don't even ask Bomi down for his access. I'm just illustrating a point here. Even if when it comes, he would come with Mr. Mutawung, I wouldn't ask Kaiser for his access, really. Even Dr. Khoza, I wouldn't ask him for his access card. Who doesn't know who is he at Orlando Pirates, for example? But there, unfortunately, it happened that way. So, no, we have never experienced such at any match venue. So it only happens at Orlando, and it's quite unfortunate. More especially when one carries the NSL All Access Accreditation card, and it's one thing to be challenged, but to be wrestled in that manner, I regard it as an act of criminality, to be honest, to say the least.
The issue was brought up at today's press conference, which launched the Compact Cup. Dr. Irvin Khoza says that he had a conversation with you.
Yeah, well, chairman is, is chairman. I'll always say so. So he's referring to the conversation that we had on the spot when I called him. I called him to inform him as to what is happening, and I wanted to know why is it happening, and why should I be refused access, at the time, at the heat of the moment. So, yeah, we had a 3-minute conversation. He spoke to one senior police officer who was also there, a white fellow, I don't know his name, and thereafter he asked to speak to his chief of security. Then he said to me, look, Tim, look, you'd rather go to your change room. Don't go get into the field. I said, look, I would accept that obviously as a compromised position, but the truth is I've got an all-access card. I can be anywhere. And I'm a very pedantic type of a person when coming to these kind of matters. I do inspect the pitch. You see, I'm sure there are some footages of me looking to the match venue, the pitch. I'll know when it's heavy, when it's fast, when it's this, and when we get to the change room, we discuss with the coaches and players. In certain areas, some pitches are not even, you can see that one side is heavier than the other and whatnot. So you alert the players, because players have the time, they don't look at these things. When they do their walkabout, they've got their stereos on and they talking and having a conversation. They don't look into the detail, which becomes very critical during the game. So we do advise them along those side of matters. So yeah, we spoke only at the time, and nothing thereafter, nothing from the league. I did at the time of the incident. Obviously the person I would start with is the CEO of the league, and unfortunately she was not available on the phone, and I had to call the ultimate supremo at Orlando Pirates, and who's the chairman of the league. That's when Dr. Khoza and I spoke.
Tim, do you feel that the conversation was sufficient to address this issue? Because now it seems to be a recurring issue. You had a similar experience in January.
Yeah, well, the conversation is talking about, obviously, is during the incident on Saturday. So, no, it wasn't, because he asked that I access our change room. I said, look, I took it as a compromised position. But then still, he then asked to speak to his chief of security, and we went on a conversation over the phone with him for 2-3 minutes. When he came back, this guy said no. And he said, on the instruction of the chairman. That's what he said. He told us that the chairman has instructed him not to let me in at all whatsoever, because they fear that I will enter the field. So it's nonsensical. It's absolute rubbish, So yeah, so as the ultimate outcome, I couldn't meet up with my team, and we were disjointed and disorganized. If there was anything to maybe pull us apart, I think it worked for Orlando Pirates, because eventually they won the match anyway.
That's the president of TS Gaxy speaking to us about an unsavory incident that happened at the Orlando Stadium on Saturday, being denied access to the players' change room. His team went on to lose to Orlando Pirates 2-0. Tim Sukazi, thank you very much for your time here on Newzroom Afrika.